So who would like a update on the Christopher Watts case? Anybody? I'm pretty sure most of you would. So here is the update as of right now. So Christopher Watts has been moved out of the Weld County Jail. He has been moved to the Denver Diagnostic Center. Now, what do they do there at the Denver Diagnostic Center? They're going to go over a complete profile and make a complete profile of Christopher Watts. Now, they're going to go over the pre-sentencing report. When I speak about programs, now that's not like arts and crafts and painting. I've seen that in another YouTube video. They guessed wrong. When they say programs, they mean medical, security, physical restrictions. Is if he's not able to walk, what kind of programs would he need to rehabilitation or something like that. They look at everything. They take a blank slate and they look at the profile of the individual and what they need. So again, not painting. We're not out here to make the next John Wayne Gacy. And in case you don't get that reference, John Wayne Gacy, while he was in prison before he died, he learned how to paint better than he already did. He always liked painting clowns, but he took painting up in prison, and he actually sold quite a few of his paintings. But back to what I was saying. So they're going to look at his what programs he needs. They're going to then contact different prisons, and they've already been in contact with several about security needs and where to place him. 3 of the 5 places in the state of Colorado have already reached out, the wardens have, and have publicly announced that we don't want him here. He's too much of a high-profile case right now, and between that and him having to be transported back and forth for ongoing legal issues in court, it would be at their expense to transport him back and forth, and without compensation right away. They would get compensation through the federal government's transport system, but they would be on the hook for it, short term. They build a complete profile of him and his case and everything else, and then they decide where they're going to actually place him. Now, like I said, there are still 2 places left in the state of Colorado that could take him. One in particular, the CDX, does have a room for him. They're always accommodating there. From what I hear and read online, is the CDX is a special kind of hell of a prison. There is the nicer part of the prison, and then there is the supermax and maximum security part that is deplorable and just downright disgusting, from what a lot of people who've ever had to spend time there, who have been, transferred out, have said. But he could go there. They've also reached out already to the state of California, and they've reached out to the state of Utah about taking him as well. Now, if he goes to California, they've reached out, and from what I have read and have been told, they've reached out to Pelican Bay prison, and they haven't received an answer back yet from them. And they've also reached out to 2 prisons in Utah, but haven't received a reply back if they have availability. But he would most likely go to CDX. But I'm not 100% sure on that yet. He could go out, because there have been a couple of statements released from the court system that said that he is more likely to be shipped out of state. And I think that they're basing that on the fact that the Diagnostic Center has reached out already to other states to see if they have placement availability for him. Okay, so that's about where he's moving, and what's going on right now with him. Next thing is the Rusick family, Shanahan's mother and father, have filed a wrongful death suit against Christopher Watts, and they're seeking $100,000 in wrongful death, claim against him. Now, it's actually not Sandra; she's not involved in this. It's actually Frank. He was made the executor of Shanahan's estate, so it's actually him. But it's the two of them together for all intended purposes. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop the state of Colorado, basically, kind of nudge themselves in there, so they can receive the money from Christopher Watts's retirement account, along with Shanahan's money that she had set aside. So it won't go to pay the state of Colorado for their legal expenses and restitution. They would get the money first. Now, they did file this the day of the sentencing. The first part of the paperwork was filed, and the second part of the paperwork was filed the day after Thanksgiving. So they have filed the paperwork to sue him for wrongful death of Shannon, Bella, Celeste, and legal termination of Nico. Sorry, I had a mind block there for a second. So that's where they are right now in that, and they have a pretty good chance of actually winning that because and when it comes to court, I can't see a judge ever saying, you know what, we don't want the money to go to the family of, to help them. We want it to go to the state instead. That is not very good PR. All right, so moving on. The girlfriend. Now, from what I read online on it was the Coloradoan.com, which is like the Denver newspaper affiliate. Penguin Books has reached out to the Shanahan's parents to see if they would be interested in releasing their story, and they want to be the first ones to strike a deal with them to get their exclusive story of this. Now, along with that, I have to make it absolutely clear to every single person out there who watches this video now and in the future, Christopher Watts will never be able to profit from his story ever. There is a law in the federal law in the way, and it's called the Son of Sam law. In a nutshell, because of Berkowitz, and the law basically says you cannot profit from your illicit activities. So him writing a book and profiting from it is never going to happen. Someone could write a story about this case, but they would have to use public information or have other sources like I have to get information. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. The girlfriend, briefly touch on her. She has been approached by a couple of different companies out there, and believe it or not, this is sick as hell. But one of the companies that was listed as reaching out to her is a fashion label. Yeah, I don't see why anybody would want to do that, because I know why they do it, because she's in the news. No better way to get your fashion label out there, even if it's a sick reason. All right, so that's it for the updates for right now. I don't have any other information that I want to share right now. I mean, I have been looking at the story on and off a little. If you haven't read the 1,609 page release from the DA, I suggest you do it. Grab yourself a box of tissues, bag of popcorn, and kick back and start reading it. Now, it'll take you about 2 days to read it and actually comprehend what the heck you're reading. Because some of it's a little bit hard to read, especially the scans of personal handwriting. It's a little hard to read. You stay safe out there.